This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is Colonel Douglas Macgregor, the decorated U.S. Army combat veteran, military strategist, and former senior advisor to the Secretary of Defense. You served more than 3 decades in uniform, earning distinction during the Gulf War before becoming one of America's most respected and controversial voices on defense and foreign policy. You've long warned that Washington's reckless interventions have drained U.S. power, destabilized entire regions, and pushed the world to the edge of catastrophe. Today, as Gaza burns, Ukraine falls, and Venezuela plots its next move, you argue that America's era of global dominance is ending, replaced by a multipolar world where the U.S. influence is shrinking, alliances are fracturing, and rivals are rising. Colonel, welcome back to London Real.
I'm happy to be there. Thanks.
Colonel, I'd love to go to a section of the world that we haven't been talking about in the last 6 months, and that's what's happening now in the Gulf. We've seen Venezuela now seem to be kicking off. There was an article in the FT that said its military was preparing for a U.S. strike. We're seeing these drug boats blown out of the water. We're seeing Colombia's president really calling out, I think, President Trump. And now we're seeing, I think, an aircraft carrier moved into the region. I'm really curious what you see going on here and what are the potential implications for the U.S. and the world.
Well, admittedly, it is very difficult for people outside the country as well as inside to follow everything that's happening.
How do you get out of a rat race? How do you create wealth not only for yourself, but also for the generations to come after?
I am absolutely amazed with the quality of companies that we're getting exposure to.
We go on to Zoom calls with the innovators and the folks who are building new applications in metaverse, blockchain, artificial intelligence, decentralized finance.
What's going on, everybody? Thumbs up if you can see me.
We are focusing on early stage investment.
And the quality of people that we're getting exposure to, whether it be Dan Tapiero with 1RT, Jason Ma from Open, Yatsu from Animoca.
It's been a phenomenal experience thus far. It has far exceeded my expectations.
We are focusing on cutting edge technologies.
I view it now as the best investment I've ever made. The upside I view is unlimited.
And as a retail investor, I would never get this exposure anywhere else outside of Investment Club.
See you in the Investment Club.
Benjamin Franklin was asked by someone standing outside of Independence Hall in Philadelphia after the Constitutional Convention ended what sort of government we were going to have. And he said, you're going to have a republic if you can keep it. And right now, I think we have probably a drama queen republic if we can keep it. Everything is theater. It's unending. And President Trump seems to love this sort of thing. But the theater is confusing. It sends people in the wrong directions. This is especially true in Moscow. You know, the Russians are very serious people. They take what's happening on their borders very seriously. That's why we have a war. So they don't understand Trump. He suddenly expresses a willingness to meet, but then his staff backtracks and says, well, we've got to go back to a ceasefire, when he realized there would be no ceasefire until we had some sort of agreement hammered out. So he calls up and says, I'm not coming. Well, the Russians interpret that as potentially threatening. Then he imposes more sanctions, again, more threats, although these sanctions, frankly, don't amount to a tinker's dam. But having said that, simultaneously, he's withdrawing U.S. forces from Romania and Bulgaria. And I expect he'll withdraw the forces in Poland and probably Lithuania and elsewhere. Why? Because we're not postured to fight the Russians. No one in the United States has any interest in a war with Russia. I think we have a lot of saber rattling at the moment in Eastern Europe. That will probably continue. But if you're a Russian, you're trying to figure out what does this man want? He's pulling forces out, but he still threatens. He says he wants an agreement, but he goes back to the ceasefire. And when we say no for the 99th time until we have an agreement, he imposes more sanctions. So this is a huge problem. You're asking the right question, but there's no easy answer because we have no coherent national security strategy. None. Everything is impulse driven. So when you turn to the Middle East, what's the policy? Well, the policy is that we're going to do whatever Israel wants us to do. That's no mystery. It's very interesting to me that this woman, Machado, who's been named as the possible successor to Maduro if we succeed with regime change in Venezuela, she's the new Nobel Peace Prize winner. She immediately says, if I'm the president, if I take over, we will move our embassy to Jerusalem. Well, why would somebody in Venezuela give a damn where the embassy was in Israel? I think she knows where the power lies. I think she understands the audience that she's playing to. So that kind of informs us as to where we're likely to go in the Middle East. And when we say likely to go, it's wherever Israel wants us to go. And I think the Emirates understand that. I think Qatar understands it. I know Kuwait does. I think Saudi Arabia understands it. Doesn't mean they like it, but they know it.
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing in crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.